Thanks everybody for coming. We're hunting for seats. I don't know if we got any more chairs. That might be about it. So, first item on the agenda, approval of minutes for the public hearing.
Move to approve.
Second. Been moved and second. Any discussion? What I'd like to do on here, since it's we need a signature, we'll change the name. I did go to the meetings, so we'll change the names under there and put my name as mayor to sign for testing. So that would be fine. Okay. Mike?
On the December 18th meeting, the staff presence, you have Mike McGinley, fire chief here, and I was not. Rick later came to my place. They do have him, but I was not at the meeting.
Well, first, this is the public hearing right now. We'll get to that next.
But you didn't officially take office until the 8th or the 6th. Does that make a difference too?
I don't think so. The main purpose of the thing is just to have a record of the hearing.
So, is that agreed? Any others?
So I would move as corrected.
So moved. Do we have a second? Second. Any other discussion? Call for the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. It passes. Next item on the agenda, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on December 18th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, been moved and second. Again, I have a point on that one. I didn't get a chance to read these before it went, so I apologize. But also, I did see a correction on the first page under number 1. It says, above resolution for council approval, Councilperson Spear made a motion. I'd say get rid of made a motion, one of them. Simple, that was it. And of course, the correction that Mike had. Any others? Any discussion?
Move to approve the corrected.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So be it moved and passed. Now, the next one, approval of the minutes, special meeting.
Move to approve.
Second?
Been moved and second, discussion. Okay. Want to call for the question?
Call for the question.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? It passes. Under petitions and communications, we have in the packet a letter from the Montana Food Bank Network saying we want to get more food to the people, the kids that need it in the grade schools. So, yep.
Greg Fitzgerald, did he show up? He was going to...
Oh, there he is, sorry.
He wants to explain it a little bit.
Okay.
And again, Dr. Johnson had to leave on a family emergency, so I'm here representing District 10. One of the things that happened is when they did this report, they didn't add in there was about approximately 76 high school students that don't eat breakfast in the morning. So if you take those kids out of the equation, it's right around 30%, which isn't great, but it still wouldn't fall in that what they would consider bottom 20. Our school actually was the first school district in the state of Montana to offer a backpack food program, which we do every Friday to help kids. I mean, our main goal is to make sure no kid's hungry. Kid shows up to school, we feed them. It doesn't make any difference what time they show up. We've had kids show up at 9 o'clock. We'll go down and offer them some sort of a meal. So, you know, we just want to basically let the city council know, because I know you guys received the letter, that our goal is to make sure no kid is hungry. And we believe we do as good a job as any. And our food service department, I would put up with anybody out there. So if you have questions, or if there's any other concerns, certainly come in. I know a lot of you have been to the school and understand that. So unfortunately, they don't take into all the factors that go on. Obviously, the two districts are apart. The high school does certain things, and as well as the elementary. So do you have any questions with regards to that? One of the other things that and it's another correspondence, but this is with regards to the city and the schools, that there was a study done this past year, and Dillon, Montana was the 4th best in the state of Montana to raise young families. So that's kind of a feather in everybody's cap. And I've got some information if you guys want to take a look, pass them around and look at them. So I do appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk to the council. So.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. An item that I skipped and I forgot to put back on, it's just just remind everybody, it's been on before, we're having MMIA municipal training. Just remind everybody for the councils on January 30th. I think they're well worth it. I will be there, some of the staff will be there. So I'd recommend, especially the new council we got on, that would be well worth it. It's out at the Armory from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock on January 30th. So 9 to 3.
I think you have to let them know that who's coming.
I get that pretty soon, so if you would, maybe after the meeting, we'll tell Jamie, I think she's the one that does it. Okay. So any comments out in the audience? Any public comments?
I would like to make a motion that we move public comment to the end of the agenda. The public has a right to talk to about things on the agenda. This is specifically for things that aren't on the agenda. So, you know, when we go through something like, for instance, some petitions and some communication, somebody wants to say something, we usually let them say something. And then we have the public comment on something that is of interest that is not on the agenda at the end.
I would second that.
Okay, well, we don't really need a motion if that's what the council wants. Is that an agreement? We can put it at the end if you want, so.
I think it would be better that way. They have a chance to comment on what's on the agenda while we're going through it. And then anything that isn't on the agenda, they comment at the end.
I think that's the way the county commissioners structure their agenda too.
Okay,
I think we really need to vote on that so you know that the council is in agreement. You can't just say we're in agreement.
Okay, so I make the motion, you second.
okay, it's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'll move it there. Next agenda we'll have it so. Okay, mayor's report to the city council. First one is the appointment of Ty Cobb. It is an offer. Appoint him as administrative assistant to help train the new treasurer that could be coming in. So that was an offer for that. To keep him on same pay until March 31st. So, and that appointment by the charter is up to the mayor only. It doesn't need council approval. And we will, as long as it's in the budget, we have the money in the budget, and if everything goes, there is, so.
So are we saying that Ty Cobb then is going to have 2 positions until March 31?
No, I am asking here that the treasurer will be Neil D. Strauss. His offer would not be there if he still is not treasurer, or if he's treasurer.
I think you got the cart before the horse here, though. This should come after we decide as to whether we're going to be a new treasurer.
Well, I have a decision to do on administrative assistants, and they won't hold the same position. This is mainly just to tell you guys what I was going to do if that Mr. Strauss becomes. Okay,
but you don't have our approval to
I don't-
remove the current treasurer from his position. And that's consent of council.
agreed.
Okay, so how can you put Mr. Cobb in a subordinated position when we haven't approved your proposal for a replacement of the treasurer?
Okay. I will remove that.
And put it after the.
Okay, we'll move it to number 3. If it so works. So, appointment of administrative officials. Director of Operations. A motion?
I would move that J.S. Turner be named Director of Operations.
Second.
Moved and second, discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. He's now Director of Operations. Now, we can do City Clerk, but let me stop here for a second and maybe the paper kind of gets some things confused. Let me sort of go over what we're doing here on this. I agree on how the whole thing works under the charter, that the mayor may appoint one or more, or appoint and remove at the consent of the council all department heads. That is correct. But also under the powers and duties in the charter for the legislative, that's the council. Number 2, neither the council nor the council members shall in any manner dictate the appointment or removal of the city officers. And how I interpret that is you people have the authority and the right to question who I put in on qualifications. But if they're qualified, and qualification means that, you know, if they're a felon, they're not qualified. If they don't live in the city or in the county or in the state, they're not qualified. Things like that. So if you don't believe that they are qualified in what they applied for, if you believe, you know, that they're not qualified for the position, then you vote no. But otherwise, really, under this, you're not supposed to dictate in any manner on the appointments. It's the mayor's appointment for department heads.
But we're not challenging your appointment, but the end result is with consent of council. You can go ahead and make an appointment.
Yes.
It has to be with consent of council.
Yes.
Okay. So it's at your pleasure to nominate, if you will, or appoint. But then it falls on this table to approve or disapprove.
Yes. Okay, now we'll go back. City clerk. I'm appointing Janie Olson.
I would move Janie Olson be appointed city clerk.
Second.
Any discussion? Is moved in second. Call for question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? She's now city clerk. Next one is city attorney. Since that one's different,
Yeah, I would recuse myself from the discussion and vote on the city attorney.
oh, okay, so it'll be so done. On the city treasurer, in your packet, I put in the resume that he has given me. He's been the deputy city attorney, and he's qualified. Strong point here, and I'm not, between him, the attorney and treasurer, I'm not saying anything bad against who was in there. These are just people that I want in there. I think they do a good job too. So for the city attorney, I want James Dillon. When I talked to him, the city attorney's budget is, when you add the two together, you have two attorneys. You got the city attorney, deputy city attorney. Their budget right now, just salaries, is $95,000. Okay, for there. Mr. Dolan has offered to do it for $67 full-time salary. He'll also get budget, so that's saving about 30,000 by doing it this way. Do it. So, and that's what I'm here for, is I'm trying to make money, or save money for the city. Doing it smart. Okay.
And he's gonna provide his own office and equipment?
No, we're putting them in here.
Okay, so
We'll
what does
find a
that
room
cost?
here. We have the equipment.
Beg your pardon, but anyway, go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
Mr. Gilbert, I think there's 2 computers down in his office. Is it one? Okay, one.
Move on.
Okay. So here's, that's my appointment.
He doesn't live in the city of Dillon, is he gonna work there?
He will move here, that's an agreement. I mean, we gotta give him a few weeks to a month, but if you appoint him, he will move to Dillon and live here, and he'll be in it for full time.
I would move we approve City Attorney James Dolan.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Discussion? No discussion? Okay, call for the question. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed?
No.
Okay, there's been a no. We'll go around the table. Mr. Spear?
No.
Mr. Codd?
No.
Ms. Weston?
No.
Mr. Gore?
No.
Mr. Croson, you recuse yourself? Mr. Nye?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Officer, sorry. And Mr. Schaefer. Okay, 4-3, it fails. City Treasurer. I'm appointing Neil D. Strauss. In your packet, there's a resume. He's more than qualified for the position. He will come in and go, instead of full-time, going about 47,000, he'll cut it down to half-time and still get the work done with the offer. Do I have a motion to approve it?
I would move we, City Treasurer is Neil Strauss.
Have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Discussion? I see a hand back there. Was it Jean?
You know, I've made some phone calls in the last couple days, and I've talked to several council members, and I just want to go on the record as saying I believe that this whole thing was orchestrated and manipulated. I believe that there are people on this council that do not have the city's good intentions at heart, and I also believe that there are, you know, the fact that you are not willing to move forward from the election that occurred in November, I think is absolutely appalling.
My name is Norman Duffy, and for the record,
If you can come to the table, maybe, or is it easy to buy?
my name is Norman Duffy, and for the record, I've watched the city go from no money in the bank in 12 years to money in the bank, and probably the second finest financials regarding the people that are already sitting here. Okay, whether you guys like them or not, inconsequential. If something's not broke, you don't fix it. Thank you.
Shane McIsaac, longtime resident, former councilman. I guess I would like to address this to both Mr. Gilbert and Mr. Cobb, whom both I'm well acquainted with. I would ask that maybe you two gentlemen be the gentlemen that we think you are, hope you are, and ask that you step aside from these positions so that this council isn't further polarized and so that the city can move on with its business, which the voters have told us they want. Thank you.
to sue them.
Oh, sorry, Mr.
Yeah, Peter Tamarian, not so long as city resident, but 8 years. I would think that it would behoove members of the council to at least express their opinions when they're going to vote no on something that the mayor has asked for. To just hide behind a no vote without giving your reasons why you disagree with our newly elected mayor,
Yes.
I find to be rather cowardly.
Okay, no more comment?
I'll make a comment.
Oh.
My decision is based on a Butte lawsuit that cost their taxpayers $1 million that went on their property taxes because insurance doesn't pay it, for wrongful termination of appointed officials that were employees. And in light of that exposure, that is why I'm making the decision of no. You cannot terminate someone who is employed and doing his job without just cause. And in this situation, there is not just cause. And he can't, an employee can't have a job one day and be fired the next day, and that's exactly what the lawsuit said. So I feel I cannot, and there seems to be some opinions that there's a difference of how those people arrived at that position, or whether they're exempt or non-exempt. But basically, the federal court case addressed all those issues, and it doesn't matter. The person sitting there is employed, and they're terminated for no just cause. And I am not going to expose the City of Dillon citizens to a lawsuit that they will lose and will end up having to be paid.
Now, let me comment on that, because I have looked at that case. And there was two gentlemen that Mr. Babb came up and fired. And I do not believe that case is like the City of Dillon. The City of Dillon, well, in the Butte case, that's different, is those employees started at the bottom and they worked their way up and they went to the last position, and that was the top where they were appointed. At that point, they had been full-time, lifetime employees. You cannot just remove them. I agree. What we have here, though, is different. Both of these gentlemen started at the city as an appointed position. They were appointed every 2 years. State law says termination of employment generally. And employment is terminated by, number one, the expiration of its appointed term, which is what happened here. Both of these gentlemen, and I'm not commenting, I'm not knocking them, they're both good gentlemen. But their term has been terminated. It's over. That happened. They were appointed for 2 years. And
4 years.
Well, no, 2 years. Well, they've been going and going and going. But 2 years ago, 2 years and 2 weeks ago, they were appointed. That ended. Okay? So those case is not the same case for that. Okay? But
Your opinion.
well, it's the same as your opinion. That's James again.
If I could comment on the Babb case, it has very distinct dissimilarities between the City of Dillon and Butte-Silver Bowl County. Butte-Silver Bowl County is a city-county government. They do have a charter that's for a first-class city. Dillon is a third-class city. Their charter provides for appointment of attorneys and treasurers. Butte-Silver Bowl does not have appointment of attorney, the city attorney or county attorney, or the treasurer. They're both elected positions. The two people that were fired, and they were fired, were department heads. And I believe that is the same distinction that you just made for JS and Janie. They were not appointed positions. The city attorney in the statutes is always an appointed position of the mayor. And the fact that we're running scared of a potential lawsuit, again, I don't think that's where we should be.
I thought you weren't entering into the discussion.
No, that was.
Oh, that was just for Dolan? Oh, just, okay, sorry.
It's my understanding that Ty has saved this city a lot of money and is well tuned in to those opportunities to save us money because of his experience in the position. And I think that for some of us, I would suspect that might bring some support from some of us based upon his past performance and what he's done for the city. And that we anticipate, if he remains in place, that he will continue serving the city to that extent.
Okay, any other, Mr. Dunn?
I guess, I don't know if this is out of question or not, but I would ask Ty Cobb if he's even interested in continuing with the job, with the new administration that we have.
Not tendered my resignation.
He has not tendered his resignation.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. All those in favor, say aye. This is to appoint Neil Strauss. Okay, all those opposed?
No.
Okay. I didn't sure if I heard an aye or not, so let me go around. Okay, so let me go around. We'll start. No. Bill Shaver, no. Mr. Octor?
No.
Mr. Nye?
Yes.
Mr. Troutson?
No.
Mr. Gore?
No.
Ms. Weston?
No.
Mr. Cottom?
No.
Mr. Spear?
No.
Okay, that failed. Next one to be appointed, Chief of Police, Paul Kraft, I'm appointing.
I would move that Paul Kraft be appointed Chief of Police.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All those, or not yet, any discussion? No discussion? No question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. Next one's Fire Chief, Mike McGinley.
I would move Mike McGinley be named Fire Chief.
It's been seconded. Who was it, Bill Schaefer? Or? Okay. Been moved in second. Discussion? Okay, been moved second. Question?
Call for question.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. Last one, be appointed Fire Marshal.
I would move Rick Waiter be appointed Fire Marshal.
Second.
Been moved in second.
Call for the
Discussion?
question.
Okay, question's been called for. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes?
While we're on appointments, I would suggest that in the very near future, the council representative on the Library Board of Trustees be offered. That position is open, and so you need to ask the councilman which one you want to serve on that board, because there's one member of the council that serves on that board of trustees. So if you could come with a name next meeting or the meeting thereafter in the near future, I think that spot needs to be filled.
Agreed. And I will appoint all the boards. Again, by what it says, I appoint. So I will come up with my appointment for those boards, for all of the boards that are up for appointments.
With consent of council.
I agree. Okay, next item on the agenda, election of council president.
I'd elect David Spear as president. He's been doing a good job the last few years I've been here. He's got the time to help to do whatever needs to be done. I'd like to nominate David Spear as president.
I would second that.
It's been moved or nominated and second. I'm calling for another nomination. Second call for another nomination. Third call for another nomination. Nominations are closed. So it's kind of obvious, but we'll still vote. All in favor of Mr. Spear as president council?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous? Congratulations, Mr. Spear, you're president.
Thank you, sir.
Next item on the agenda. Resolution annexing the properties owned by the city of Dillon and adjacent city of Dillon. We have one correction in here that we have to do for it. First, let's wait for motion.
I would move that we do the resolution annexing properties owned by the city of Dillon.
Second.
Moved in second. First off, on the third whereas, you'll see it says received and did not receive. We'll cross out received since they did not receive any during the public hearing. They did not receive any comments for it. And then also scratch out after the comma which were reviewed by the council. Since there was no comments, you don't have that as reviewed by the council. Is there any discussion?
Remember, this is the property that includes the Ray Lynch Park and
Noble Street, yes.
Call for the question.
Questions been called for, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it has been annexed. Next one, second reading of the ordinance amending Dillon Municipal Code, Title 10, doing the 15-minute parking, clarifying and updating the ordinances. And let's see, applicable to traffic generally, and establish speed limit. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt it.
Been moved. Mr. Schaefer seconds. Any discussion? Mr. Rucker?
Mr. Mayor, I just have a question for the chief. Is this something reasonable in the downtown area for the
It is, for the most part,
to enforce?
yeah. For the most part, this parallels Montana Code annotated in their parking statutes. As it says, it just establishes a speed limit for alley traffic, and it allows for the 15-minute temporary parking, and it does allow for some additional enforcement options. So, yeah, I think it's a good.
The judiciary and Paul and even the judge and I all worked hard on this for the last few months. And
I appreciate that.
yeah,
You know, just.
yeah, I think. Oh, yeah, you're catching up.
Catching up, yeah.
And it resolves some things that were not clear in the previous ordinance and brought up to date some things that passed in JSS's end up. So
Yeah, there's some misunderstanding on that when it says establish 15-minute parking in the central business district. That does not mean everywhere,
no.
only where it is posted.
When you move down in the ordinance, you see it's for specified spots.
I've had a lot of people call me on this and saying, we're gonna have the whole downtown area with 15-minute parking. Oh, no.
Yeah, we
Just
probably
the
should have
spots
put specified spots in the
that
title.
are marked.
Yeah, that was a comment I had heard too.
We wouldn't do that to downtown.
I do have a further question.
Questions be called. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Passed, unanimous. Now that will be law in 30 days. Okay, next item on the agenda. From the packet, we're pulling items 6, 7, and 8. I was told we're not quite ready with them yet. They were put in the packet, but then we decided we still need some more work done on them. So, it's those 3 ordinances in there are being pulled out. So, next one would be Deb Pierce on the bus. We need approval by the city council to start the process of applying for a grant. So this is just asking for the permission from the council to start the grant process for getting a new, not necessarily a new bus, it's an option for a new bus, but at least applying for the grant. Just, would you
Hi,
introduce yourself?
I'm Deb Pierce. I've been a resident all my life here. And I'm the new bus driver. They call me the new Ann. So I'm the new Ann. Anyway, what I'm asking the council is that permission to write a grant from the Department of Transportation. They have allocated us $32,498.83 of funds to help operate that bus, and it's for operation. These funds will transport regular citizens. Now, the other grant we have was for the disabled and the seniors. This is a totally different thing, just for regular local citizens of Dillon. Anybody can now ride the bus. It is not called the senior bus, it is called the city bus. And so with these funds, we can keep it going for regular citizens so they do not have to pay. So I'm just asking the council that I can go ahead with the grant, and it's a yearly thing that we have to apply for, and try to get those funds. Not saying that we will, and if we don't, then the regular citizens will not have the option to ride without funds, without paying. So I'm just asking that you'll grant me permission to write this grant and go ahead with it.
What's the fee currently?
Pardon me?
What's the fee currently?
No fee.
No fee.
It is free to everyone right now.
Oh, okay.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved. Mr. Trollson, second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Ryan. Any more discussion?
Call for the question.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you can officially start on the proposal, or on the grant proposal.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, Dillon Cubs baseball lease.
Move to approve the lease as written.
Second.
Okay,
I have a question though. Has this been presented to the Cubs after it's been redrafted?
It has not.
We can.
Yes, I have it on my computer and I have Mark's email, so I can forward it for you if you'd like.
That's fine. We just kind of wanted to know if the council was fine with it as is, and then we will present it to them. And then if they sign it, that means that they agree with it. Or it may come back.
Yeah.
I guess I have a hard time approving something until we know what their answer is. So I would like an amended motion to table it until we hear.
Okay, I'll move to table it.
well, good move. You somebody second that.
Okay.
Okay, it's been moved and second to table till next meeting.
Okay, and since I have it on my computer, you want me to do that for you, Jess?
That would be fine.
Okay.
I'll probably send her, take a hard copy, do a couple of them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been moved and second to send to table. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Table. Let's see. Monthly revenue report. Motion?
Move to accept.
Second? Been moved and second. Any discussion on it?
Call for the question.
Questions called? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Citizens request, next item.
Motion to accept.
Do you have to really accept them? Oh, it's just for you to read and look at and see what's going on. Okay. Reports of officers, Mr. Gilbert.
A few days ago, I was informed by the labor lawyer who's working with us on the police officer's arbitration termination case that there had been an extension of time to file the briefs. They were anticipated to have been filed today, but they're going to be filed on the 28th. Simultaneously, I would expect that we will have you never know, but I think it would be fair to, let's say, speculate that we would have a decision by the end of February. Those briefs going in the first. We have a contract matter that's ongoing that seems to be resolving itself quite nicely. There's a little bit left to do. We have two district court lawsuits that are pending responses and rulings by the court. They require immediate action by the city if a half a dozen different variables happen. And because the law says, and the Attorney General's opinion says, that I am the city attorney until my successor is appointed and I don't want to try and withdraw from those cases until such time as a successor is appointed. Then the normal form would be go to the court, you move for substitution counsel on the basis that the successor has been confirmed, and that's that. But I have to be available to do that. I have no desires to block Mr. Dolan's petition or application for this office. He's worked for me for quite a while. And we know each other quite well. But his deputy appointment is limited to criminal matters only. So it's not as though he could take that over without some approval from the council. So that's why we are there. I expect that we're probably looking at, well, you never know when this has been really problematic on some of these. The response from the defense is due in about 10 days. Whether we'll have to reply to that, I don't know. There may be the hearing scheduled thereafter. At any time you approve a successor or tell me what you want me to do with them, then we'll arrange for that. So that's the status of where we are now. Yes, well,
I see there in your worksheet, you're working on where you're ready these dealers still.
yes. Yes, there's some, the two cases that are in front of the judges are right in order.
Got any orders that's done with it?
No, we filed a motion for attorney's fees and judgment interest, prejudgment interest, after we obtained the judgment. And that's what, and the defense has, well, a few days, I'm not exactly sure, 10 days yet to respond. And then after that, if we don't reply, the court will take it under advisement and we'll get a decision on that. You may set a hearing on that.
Any other questions?
Quick question for Mr. Gilbert. So if there is a change in city attorney, you don't see any issues with any of the cases before the city?
There are some. There are some, but there's always something in a case like that. It's nothing that can't be dealt with.
Thank you.
An option for the city is in regards to when we took the position, we gave authorization to Mr. Sidney to continue with the cases that were pending. We could do the same with you if there was a change in attorney.
That did happen. Some of you were here. The city was involved in a zoning lawsuit with a man named Alan Sorensen, an old classmate of mine who raised his own history. And the case had gone along a long distance and was getting toward maybe the last 20% of it or whatever.
And the council felt, and I felt, it was in the best interest of the city to continue Mr. Sinram in that representation of the city, because he was familiar with the case, he was on top of it, he had the whole thing laid out, and there was no point in me starting over hope. If the council feels that the same thing applies here, that's entirely up to you. I'll abide by your decision. You do have authority to do that. As I say, that's up to you.
Thank you. Any other? Planning board, Steve's like no report. Zoning commission, Steve's like no report.
No report on the planning, they'll have a meeting scheduled for Monday, no zoning report.
Director of operations.
There's a list of zoning compliance certificates that were applied for and those that were approved. Also, I would like to do my report for the tree board at this time. Tim Egan, that is the secretary for the Dillon Tree Board, he has been named the 2013 Service Forester of the Year. Tim is the manager of the Forestry Trust Lands Dillon Unit. He has been named Service Forester of the Year for 2013 in recognition of his outstanding efforts to support forestry assistance programs in Dillon and across the region. As a 2012 Leadership DNRC participant, Tim chose as his class project hosting the 2013 Northern Rockies Tree School, which was held here in Dillon, a two-day event that drew 100 to 150 participants and included arborist certification testing, technical training, and a variety of workshops. Tim is a strong supporter of urban and community forestry activities in Dillon, and he's a member of the Dillon Tree Board and an active participant in the early Arbor Day events. And I would like to congratulate Tim on being named the 2013 Service Forester of the Year.
Question, J.S., does he get any kind of plaque, Rick?
He did from DNRC.
Okay.
And as far as other tree board news, we sent out the bids for the yearly trimming and some tree removal for the city on the 22nd, I believe, at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to meet in front of the museum and meet with the prospective bidders on that. That's kind of a show me trip. So, with the money that the tree board has raised, both through the Great Harvest Bake Day that they had and through grants, we have close to $20,000 to spend for tree trimming. So it will be the trees down in the depot park will be trimmed. I think we'll be able to get the rest of the trees up in the cemetery trimmed, and then a few other places around town. So that's a really fun board to be on because they get a lot of stuff done, and it's a great bunch of people.
One question. The trees you're talking about trimming and stuff, you know, we've had a lot of damage with the wind in the last few.
Not a whole lot of damage. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was.
So we're getting a handle on the problem?
It seems to be. Even though we had those really strong winds, there were some fairly big branches that came out of private trees. Not a lot out of city trees. I was really shocked. So I was pleased, I guess. Any questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, police chief, oh crap.
For your approval, I submit the officer activity for the month of December 2013.
Move to accept.
Second. Been moved and second. Discussion? Any comments on it, or just sort of standard stuff?
Just standard stuff.
No question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Passed unanimous. Thank you, Paul. Fire Chief, Rick later, or Mike McGinley will do Fire Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, very seldom both of us show up at the meeting.
I know. You could have a choice.
If one's not here, the other, we've got to cover on that, so I'll take this. In your packet is the December 13 expenditures for Fire Hall, and I would ask for your approval.
So
And been moved and second. Anything you want to say about it? Nothing?
Call for the question.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any other discussion?
No, sir.
Thank you. City Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before you is the city court report for December 2013, and I would ask for the council approval.
So moved.
Second. Been moved and second. Any discussion on it, or anything special going on with it?
You know, the only thing I would like to point out on this report, there is an inordinate amount of dismissed by court cases. And if you'll notice some of the dates on there, that would have been from the 3 judges prior to me. Unfortunately, these fell through the cracks for whatever reason. They were stale, past speedy trial dates. So I'm trying to just tighten things up and dispose them and move on so that we've got cleaner records. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. Any other?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes, thank you. Thank you, Shay. Treasurer, Mr. Cobb.
Yes, the council is reviewing approval to the monthly cash reconciliation report for December and the investment report for the month of December. Seek your approval, all are in balance.
So moved. Been moved, second. Okay, been moved, second. Any discussion? Want to say anything on it? Oh, okay, that's right. You have any questions on it? Okay.
Call for the question.
Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything else?
Yes, as is customary, when there's a change in signatory in the city's checking accounts, we had our auditor verify and reconcile cash since the last audit. In that process, they also take a sample of various payables and checks and make sure that everything is in order. And I have a preliminary, we should be receiving the final this week. Told there's going to be a good likelihood of a change, but there are no exceptions to the tests that they ran, and so everything is in order according to the study. I want to share that with the council as well as the former mayors and voters. Thank you.
Any other questions for you? Thank you, Todd. Library Board. Don't see Marie here, so we'll take no comment. Board standing committees. Probably don't have anything on any of them, right? Except for the finance.
I move approval of the claims report and the line item budget report for the month of December.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, call for the question. Then on the, or separate, is it on the claims report?
No.
Okay, let me get to you in a bit. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passed. We'll have Mr. Crow's.
Well, I think, I would suggest that the finance committee have a meeting in the very near future to determine the salaries for the mayor and the judge, so they can get paid here very quickly. And so, I just leave that.
Well, actually, we are getting paid. The salary's been set yearly, it's in the ordinances. biannual set, and it's done at the budget time.
No, the code says annually the city council will set the salaries.
Yes, and that was done by budget, is the annual, and it's set.
Yeah, but that was for the existing mayor, and we have a new mayor now.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it might.
No, it doesn't.
Be that as it may, I think it needs to be moved to the finance committee so that we meet on it. Because they will expound on us. Things are different if you're coming.
I ran with that certain, I paid a fee for that salary. That salary is not changing. It's set by ordinance.
It's my
And it says
understanding,
by,
if I might add, it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. The previous mayor did not incur the cost of health insurance out of the budget. If you want health insurance, then that needs to be taken into account by a review of the finance committee, and then come back to the council as to whether there needs to be a revision of the salary or not.
and if I'm not incorrect, when a person is hired as an employee, am I not incorrect that benefits go with it? And does their salary that they hired on change if they elect certain benefits? No.
Be that as it may, I suggest that we refer to the finance committee for that, for their review.
Okay, we'll put it to finance committee as soon as the finance committee is set up.
I guess in the meantime, I would like the city attorney to give me some leeway to tell me what to do on that.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, please.
Okay? Oh, Bob, that's right, sorry.
So the Water and Sewer Committee,
Yeah, we'll go to that now.
I'd like approval
Where did
for...
we miss the rest of the committees, or did I go to sleep somewhere along the line?
Let's see.
You know, I didn't hear the judiciary, the finance, and whatever.
Well, who's in charge of them? Okay, judiciary.
No report.
Okay, city hall.
No report.
Fire. Who's fire? Okay, that must be part of the reason.
Yeah.
City, cemetery meeting. Okay, parks.
No report.
Health and welfare.
No report.
Okay, street and alley.
No report.
Okay, now we're at the water and sewer where we started at the beginning.
Okay, I'd like approval for my revenue report for December 2013.
Second.
He asked for, is there a motion? He asked for a motion. Okay, now there's a second. Okay, discussion on it? Any question?
Call for question.
Okay, been moved, second, question's been called, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. Any comments from the public? Sir?
Could you please clarify for me what the status is of your appointments to treasurer and city attorney? I'm confused.
Would you state your name first, please?
Richard Henry.
From what I understand, there's a, it's not really old, but 20 years, 15-year-old Attorney General's opinion that's said that whoever was in there keeps going. So, but that hasn't really been pushed through the courts. That's been the executive side of it. The Attorney General has given that. It hasn't went through the courts to make it law.
So these appointees don't serve at the pleasure of the mayor?
Consent of council.
Is that in statute?
It's in the codes.
Ma'am?
My name is Edith Fletcher. I have a lot of problem with this, but one of the things that's going through my head is, why did the majority of us vote for a new mayor? And new mayor is stuck with a council that's pretty much stacked in favor of the old mayor. And now is forced to continue with the staff that the old mayor appointed. I've never heard of such a thing. Thank you.
So which charter work?
It's also called elections.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Public? Oh,
I'm a member of the public, I'll make a comment.
well, I seen a hand back there first. Now we
I'd like to point out that we did elect a new mayor by a fairly good margin, they tell me almost 10%, which is a pretty good margin for a three-term mayor to be elected by. And for the council to come in now and start nitpicking and taking away the benefit package was set by the council a year ago, and just because they're sorry about who won the election, that shouldn't be giving them an excuse to come in and say, well, we're not going to pay him because we don't like him. The city residents of Dillon voted. We wanted Mr. Clacton to have a chance.
Yes. Yes.
And that's an overwhelming vote. It wasn't by 1 or 2 or 3 votes. I mean, when I beat Mr. Spear by 3 votes, that was a close call I could understand. I take it the next time I run for city council, I'll beat him by more than 3 votes.
Yes, you will.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Oh, Lynn, excuse
I'll
me.
make my comment.
Okay.
These 8 people here, of course, are elected people. We, or I will say I am, committed 100% to work hard for the city of Dillon with every individual that sits at this table and every individual that sits at the front table. I think if you polled everyone, we would agree we will all work hard to make the best decisions for the city of Dillon. And sometimes we're going to have differences of opinion as to what the best decision is. But let's act as adults, make our decisions, and work to do the work that needs to be done. That's what we're elected for. That's what I will attempt to do. And I think I know most everybody in this room enough up at this table that they will do that. It's fair that we are going to have different points of view at times. The appointed people will work as hard for this mayor as they worked for the previous mayor, and they would probably work for the next mayor as hard if they're still there. That's all that's necessary. This is what we're here for.
Does the President of the United States keep his predecessor's staff? Does the idea of the corporation? I've never heard of such a thing.
His staff wasn't elected.
Correct, they were appointed, but they have board integrity, they automatically resign.
Well, let's see a hand from Rich. Is it Rich?
My name's Rich Folksel. I'm not a mathematician by trade. No, you are. So I don't know what the exact count is. But looking at the members of this council, substantial number of you guys didn't receive all that many votes in the last election. The reason you didn't was because you were write-in candidates. And the reason that you were write-in candidates was because citizens of this town didn't want to run for this council. And the reason they didn't want to run for this council is because of what's happening here tonight. You guys are the most dysfunctional, tonight, dysfunctional, contentious, agenda-driven representatives of the people that we could possibly hope for. This guy at the front of the table won an election as mayor of this city. And it was my understanding of how this city has worked, especially under the leadership of the prior mayor, 2 forms of government for municipalities, a strong mayorship and a weak mayorship. We've had a traditionally strong mayorship form of government. And now, because of hurt feelings or political agendas or whatever, the people that backed the prior mayor that lost, that are sitting at this table, don't like that and want to take it out on these guys. Well, if you want to change the form of government, do it. But you have, he deserves a salary, he deserves health benefits, if that's what's in the code. He deserves the support of the council on his staff that he needs to form his administration to run the city for his next term. And that's what all of us want. At least those that, whether we voted for him or for the other guy, want the best thing for the city. We want it to run smoothly, and we want people to run to the council and feel like they're maybe not going to have a good time sitting on the city council, but that it's doable and something that they can weather. That it's not something that they need to worry about a target sitting on their shoulders every time they come here on a Wednesday night for a meeting. That's all I have to say, is we need to get rid of the contention, get rid of the ill feelings of the last election, and let this guy be mayor. Thank you.
Why did you file?
Because I didn't want to sit at this table.
One, there's a hand.
Yeah. My name is Norman Duffy again, and I just wanted to say, all these people were elected, and Mr. Clarkin was elected, okay? These people have districts where their people voted for them, okay? Not all of us are in those districts of each and every one of these people here. But the fact of the matter is that they speak for the districts, all right? And they have basically done a very good job, and I'm sure the new ones will do a good job as well, taking care of the city. Okay? I think it behooves all of us to give everybody a chance to work out their differences. This is the first meeting. We got a bunch of sore-minded people on either side. All I'm saying is, why doesn't everybody just work together? Why don't we let them work together, okay, without being a contentious bunch of citizens? All right? We all know what we want. Right now, the city's not doing bad. In fact, it's doing pretty good. We have some issues. Let's work them out. But let's let them do it. Not us. We might be upset, okay, about how things might run, rumors that we might have heard, okay? But let's let that all dissipate and let these people do their work. That's all I'm asking, okay? These people are elected just like he was. Give everybody the chance to do their job properly. Thank you.
Hey.
Volunteer.
I think that's your view.
Any other?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Move second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody, for coming.